that was the biggest thing that I noticed, was like the mental clarity that you would get from it, and just be like in such a good mood. It was really weird. Like I was making a video one day and I was just like walking to the gym, and I like had my camera and I was talking or whatever. And I was like, I feel really good right now.
This shit should be illegal.
This is like, I've been in like a really good mood.
Vigorous Podcast episode 2 with the one and only Chase Irons, the only bodybuilder that actually streams on YouTube. So why did you start streaming with the podcast that lasts like 4 hours sometimes?
I mean, sometimes I just lose track of time. Like that's why it usually gets that long. But things just got busy, and it's so much easier to do the live stream format and just answer questions, because after a while of making videos, it's hard to come up with like new content. Like what do people want to hear about?
You run out of topics. I had the same thing. So then I talked with Derek, and he said, just rehash old content. Yeah, videos that you made in the past, and just make it again like 6 months later. And then you look at bigger channels like Dr. Berg or any of these bigger informational channels, and they just rehash old content. But of course, you learn new stuff in a way, so you update a video that way. But it's and the weird thing is the keywords to get to your videos, they change all the time.
Oh yeah.
So you have a different angle, same topic, different angle.
For sure. Like, I mean, rehashing old videos, that's something that I really should get on top of, because like a lot of my videos from like two or 3 years ago are like trending on, like they're just getting lots of algorithm views. And so I'm getting like a ton of comments on super old videos, and I'm like, I don't agree with a lot of what I said back here.
You just redo them, with what you learned in the meantime. You redo them, and then the people will find the new video.
Yeah, it's so funny though, because like people will go in there and comment, like, this is shit advice. What are you talking about? And I'm like, go to recent stuff. Like, come to my live stream, talk to me there. You'll things are a little different, but yeah, I definitely need to go back and rehash.
Like some old videos some old videos that I had, and I watched them back, and I realized like, oh, this is definitely not, how I look at things nowadays. So I just set it private and re-record, and then and it's new content for everybody, even people that have been subscribed for such a long time, because you forget,
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen videos from you about the vertical diet, and then I was going through your channel. Yeah, they're like 3 years old, right?
Yeah.
And then I watched them when they came out. It's like, oh, this is good content. This vertical diet looks really, really good. And I started looking into it myself, when the hype train of the vertical diet really came out.
Yep.
And then I watched them recently, and I completely forgot that I already watched them a couple of years ago. Yeah. So you could redo them, and things you learned. Maybe we can start there.
For sure.
Because like I remember when vertical diet came out, and I tried it. And did you ever do the monster mash?
I lived on that. Yeah.
Oh, really? So what was your experience with that?
I mean, I liked it. I after a while, I just got the thing that I don't really like so much about the vertical diet is I just felt it was a little too, just like constrictive within the horizontal foods. I don't know. I got bored of the monster mash of just like bell peppers and squash and rice and beef. And the funny thing is, though, is like I eat like that 90% of the time now. Like I pretty much all of my meals consist mostly of rice and beef. And then there's usually like for dinner, I'll cook for my wife. We'll just like throw in the rice cooker, just like in those vertical diet videos that I made. I'll throw in rice and bell peppers and squash and whatever, and cook all of that. And we'll split that at night. But like, so 90% of the time now I still do eat vertical diet like oriented, but I'll throw in, protein bars, protein powder. I'll throw in some other random stuff that I just like,
Right, to make it a little bit more convenient.
Make it more personal to myself, I feel like that's probably where a lot of people get stuck and frustrated, is they're like, well, I got to stick to the vertical diet 100%. And it's like, well, you can still, make great progress and personalize it,
Right. So that's what I did. Like the first day I did vertical diet 100%, right? Completely correct, to make the monster mash with sweet potato and and ground beef, and made the meatballs and cooked it all in what was it called, bone broth.
Yep.
And I ate like 4,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
And it wasn't digesting.
Oh, really?
It wasn't.
You just got super bloated?
I got super bloated and constipated. I had to go to the hospital.
Oh, really?
I got so constipated. My stomach was like turned upside down, and I had to pump. They had to pump me full with painkillers. Yeah, that's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. So I spent overnight at the hospital with an IV drip full with. They asked you how bad is your pain? I said a 12. Give me the best painkillers you have. That was that bad. Yeah, it was that bad.
It's interesting. Like when you were making the first thing that comes to my mind is like, were you reheating your rice, or was it all like fresh? Or
I didn't eat a sweet potato in like 3 years, and I followed elimination diets, to understand which foods I could eat and which foods I couldn't eat.
Okay.
So I stubbornly wanted to follow this vertical diet 100%.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that the sweet potato just didn't sit well with me, and it just, I don't know, caused constipation to the point I had to go get some IV painkillers. So after that, I switched it up a little bit. I just sticked with the quinoa, and that worked a lot better. So the beef was the same, the bone broth was the same, and the rice was the same, but I switched the sweet potato for quinoa, and that worked quite well. So I always modify these diets a little bit. So 90% vertical diet worked, but 100%, it didn't really work for me. So I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine 100% on it. I did feel though that I was like really full, because I don't know. I guess a lot of my meals ended up almost being like soup because I just put a ton of bone broth in it and whatever. But yeah, I didn't have that kind of issue with it. But it does make me think, like, there was one time that I didn't make I cooked a whole bunch of rice and then reheated it later.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
And that screwed my stomach up big time. Like, I had a whole day where I ate like, I don't know, it was probably like 500 grams worth of uncooked, cooked 500. Yeah, so it was a shitload of rice, but it was all reheated. And that really screwed up my stomach. And I realized then that, what's that called? The resistant
starches, right?
Yeah, that's when I learned about that. And it was like, okay, can't do that. So never again.
You got to keep it in the rice cooker, right? And then and then the last meal of that vertical mind is dried out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you have to add in a little bit of water, just mix it.
Yeah. It's like a cake. Yeah.
Good times. But it does work to a certain extent. I do know people that when they do the vertical diet off season and then do a hefty dose of test and boldenone, that the hematocrit is
that's
moons.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that was something I had an issue with also. It was, probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
The highest I've seen my hematocrit was like 60.
Holy shit.
Like, yeah. I was like they wouldn't take blood from me because it was so high.
So how did you get rid of it? Do you have to do it yourself, like a therapeutic phlebotomy at home?
I tried, and I was like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't take a big enough needle and jab it into my own vein.
Oh man.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I tried it with a smaller needle with a little hose attached to it and everything. It wasn't big enough to get any flow. So
it's actually quite cumbersome process. and the weird thing is, like, if you go to the pharmacy or medical supplies, they don't sell the phlebotomy kits. They're very hard to get. Even here in Thailand, they're very hard to get. So I was able to get some phlebotomy kits a while back through my nurse, right? That does my IV injections for me at home. Yeah. But even the nurse had to, navigate the market a little bit to get these phlebotomy bags out. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. So instead, I started looking more into like, is there something that I could take that'll help with this? And that's when I first saw that, like, enalapril, the ACE inhibitor, is very strong at causing anemia. So
really?
I was like, yeah, so there's a lot of studies on it that, like, women that got put on it, like, they would start to experience anemic side effects. And I was like, well, this could be something. So I started taking 10 milligrams of enalapril a day, and after a few months, like, yeah, my hematocrit was back down to like a 50.
Oh wow,
and
okay.
yeah, I mean, it was so then that kind of started leading me down to, you know, the path of looking into ACE inhibitors and ARBs, and you know, learning about telmisartan and
right.
you know, all
So
of that
about
kind of stuff.
telmisartan, you hear that, you know, some fairy tales that it can keep your hematocrit in range, but I've seen so much blood work on it now that telmisartan is still keeping it 54, 55 on some guys.
Yeah,
You know, but
yeah,
that's on a hefty cycle
on
also.
a
So I
healthy
think
side.
that if you look into the medical literature, you see that telmisartan is able to keep hematocrit somewhat in range, and it can even
Mhm.
raise it in people who are deficient in or low in red blood cell count. So it is like a balancing act when it
Yeah.
comes to telmisartan. And so my hematocrit still went down to 54 on test and primo,
Hmm.
and I'm actively trying to avoid beef and iron in my
Hmm.
diet, besides maybe a cheat meal in the weekend.
Sure.
So I think it helps, but I don't think it's like, because I heard some guys say that, oh, you take telmisartan, you never have to donate.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think
it
that's the case.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, uh, what it was maybe in January,
Hmm.
I was on a, you know, really low like cruise type dose, and was on telmisartan and got my hematocrit checked, and it was a 48. It was the lowest
Oh,
I've ever
okay.
seen it. I was like, holy crap, 48. And so it was like, that led me to believe that, you know, telmisartan must be helping a little bit in that
Hmm.
regard. But still, like, now I'm on, you know, 1,000 test and 600 primo,
Yeah.
and my hematocrit was a 53.5. So
Right.
it helps a little bit, but yeah.
Helps a
You know,
lot. I think it might take like 2 points off, 2 or 3 points of what you normally have. But
yeah.
with the enalapril, did you feel that it's more beneficial to keep your red blood cell in range compared to the telmisartan?
I mean, I only used it long enough to get my hematocrit down, and
Mhm.
then once I saw that it was like a 50, then I switched to, because at the time, you know, I was also experiencing blood pressure issues. Like, this is when
Uh,
I was really like
mm.
learning about all the health things that I wish I would have known about
Yeah,
freaking
of course.
13 years ago.
Right.
But yeah, so after my hematocrit got down, I switched. I think at that time I switched to lisinopril,
Hmm.
and at that point I was just kind of like really trying to look into this stuff and figure out more, um, what to do. I think, because I think the other thing I was using was IP6.
Yeah.
Um,
That
you
works
know,
quite well if you're eating a lot of beef,
I
and
feel
it
that
helps.
it helps prevent it from going higher. So that was
Hmm.
kind of my thing, was I used enalapril to get it down, then used a lot of IP6 to help maintain it while I figured out my next steps. But I
Right.
didn't. I have enalapril, like, you know, in the closet, just in
Uh,
case if my hematocrit goes super high again. But
well, what about
um,
blood donations? Is that a possibility in your area, or what is it
it
called?
is
The Red Plus? No, it's called something else.
true. Yeah, double red. Yeah,
Double Red. Yeah. Right.
yeah. So that's an option. But I don't know how hard that hits on like iron and ferritin, and
It
that
does. It
kind of
does bring
concerns me.
the iron and ferritin goes down quite a bit. The ferritin will come up through other pathways. What I
Yeah,
see people that do over donations is that their red cell distribution width starts to skew. So the difference between the red blood cell size, the small ones and the bigger ones, it
right.
starts to skew because your iron levels slowly start to deplete. And in
Hmm.
a lot of cases, there's like an overcompensation effect when you donate
Right.
too often, then it really shoots up.
That's what I read. Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, maybe, you know, donating wouldn't be the best idea, because, you know, your body almost tries to overcompensate
Yeah.
for it at
And when you're
times.
still using erythropoietic compounds like primobolan or
Mhm.
right boldenone, it will shoot up anyway. And then
Yeah.
the last option you have fasting, but a lot of people are too scared. You lose all your gains, which is, you get flat, but you get maybe 2 points off your
I
hematocrit. But
mean that.
it's a
Yeah,
big step. Yeah, it's a big step for bodybuilders.
man. I've done a lot of intermittent fasting,
Uh huh.
actually. That's probably when I was first really getting into the whole like fitness industry. That was like my thing, was intermittent fasting, and made a decent amount of progress on it until probably until I was about 210, and then things really stalled.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, you started
like, okay, that's not
stagnating.
gonna work. Yeah.
Did you ever do like real fasting, like 5 days no food and just water?
I'd never gone that long. The longest that I'd ever gone without no food was 3 days.
Okay.
And it just happened to it was more of an accident than anything. It just happened to work out that way.
Right.
It was when I was in college. It was a long time ago. But I was just like so busy at school and was just like doing stuff. And I got home and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to bed. Like I'm just not
Right. Yeah.
it's like whatever.
You fast because of necessity. You're just too busy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wasn't really paying attention to anything. I mean, I was like natural back then too. So
right, the good old days.
Yeah, the good old
Wasn't
days.
life a lot simpler when we were natural?
Yeah. I mean, geez, that it would be nice not having to inject so much shit all the
Sometimes I
time.
wonder like what my life would look like if I just stayed natural. I started when I was 26.
Oh man.
And I was already bodybuilding for 10 years, but the bodybuilding I know now is way more advanced than I knew back then. And of
Yeah.
course, the information wasn't there, so we had creatine and whey protein.
Yeah.
And what was the most exciting thing that came out? Johimbine, I think, or ephedra, right?
Yeah.
Ephedra. That was the most the hardest core thing that came
Mhm.
out at the time.
Yeah.
And then you start dabbling with PEDs. You do your first cycle, and then you go on the GH15 message boards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
for real.
shit hits
And then
the
it's just straight up from there. Yeah.
It's-
No, yeah. Man, my first experience was, I think my first experience with like dealing with any kind of like pills and stuff was
Yeah.
ephedrine.
Right.
And then from there, like just going and buying Broncaid. And then
Yeah.
and then after that, the first like actual like pro hormone, I can't remember what it was called, but I remember the brand was iForce Nutrition.
DMZ, Epistane.
Maybe, ooh, it was, I feel like it was Epi something. I can't remember.
Epiandro. There were so many.
There were
Like
so many, yeah.
all these guys, they probably went into like all the rejected compounds, and then they looked for the one with the most side effects.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be the one that's the most potent. Because
Yes.
dude, when I got Superdrol the first time, I was already on cycle, so they didn't dupe me. I knew it was steroids.
Mhm.
And then you take that, and I already had experience with Anadrol and Anavar, and then all that. You try Superdrol for the first time, like, holy shit, what is this?
What is this?
Yeah, what is this? What the hell is going on? It's
Yeah.
somewhat one of my favorite compounds. But
Yeah.
back then, the liver toxicity and the central nervous system fatigue that it came with,
Yeah.
it was unknown. I'm really jealous of the guys that are starting with their PED journey now, because maybe get channels like yours and mine, and you don't really have to go to the message boards anymore to talk with guys that hide behind anonymity. And
I hate it. I hate. And then what's great is like when I'm doing my live streams and I know who some of these people are that are in the comment section, they almost try to pretend like we don't know. Like I know a lot of who my chatters are.
Right.
So when one of them tries to talk like they know something, I'm like, dude, you're natural. Stop trying to say like you're not allowed to talk like that.
Right,
like,
right,
this
right.
isn't
Right,
the forums. Like I know who you are.
Right. I think the only
that's
form.
the worst.
I think the only form that ever held up was Intense Muscle, and that's where a lot of legends came from. Yeah. You got Dante Trudell, Scott Stevenson, John Meadows there.
Yeah.
And the guy that I talked with last week, Paul Barnett, he was there, right? And then so great forum, but I never joined there. I was just reading.
Neither. No, I never did either. Yeah.
So I the only forum I actually joined was GH15.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that's that.
It was a good time though. Like the first year was a great year.
Yeah.
And then then the money came into play, and the sources became a little bit greedy, I believe. But the first year was good. So many names of who are actually known now came from there also. A little bit of drug abuse here and there. Everybody edging each other on to take more.
Well, that was just it. That's what it seemed like. Yeah, fucking Tren was it. Like I went earlier this week and I was looking back at my old posts and some of the days that I had put, because like I there was a thread where it was like, what did you just inject? And I had so many posts and there was like 300 Tren left glute, fuck yeah. It's like, are you kidding me? 300
Yeah.
Tren in one shot. And that was
It's like a
daily. Like that was something I was doing daily back
it's
then.
like a
It was,
frat house,
yeah, it
you
was
know?
ridiculous. Yeah.
That's it's a
And then
good
I'd look at like some old cycles and be like, okay, this day I'm doing 300 Tren. Like, and there was just trend doses. It was like 300 Tren, 200 Tren, 300 Tren, 200, 200. It's like, what the fuck was going
Yeah, when I
on,
was
man?
on there, I tried 150 milligrams of Tren per day too, for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you wonder why you're like walking on side effect. That's all you
I
are.
mean,
Of
I,
course you're walking like this, you're all swollen shit, but you're also
right.
raging. But
I know.
you said you tried 2 grams of Tren?
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, that
How
was so it was, do you remember the poster on there named Zamba?
Zamba?
Yeah, Zamba. He was all about the Trenhola.
Trenhola, yeah.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I decided that I was going to listen to him,
Oh man.
and he was that those were the kind of doses that he was touting was 300 Tren a day. And but then I look back at my old cycle that I posted on there, and that was all I was doing was Tren. I wasn't doing any test. I wasn't doing anything else. It was just straight Tren. I was like, what the hell? What was what was
Just
I
for
thinking?
just for the
Yeah.
audience to know, this was what, 2012, 2013. So
Yeah.
this over a decade ago, guys.
Oh yeah.
A lot has changed.
So
We've learned a
stupid.
lot. We're just reminiscing of dumb stuff that we did
Oh
just
man.
like 10 years ago.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's really funny is people now, like when I talk about that, people are like, well, your trend must have been fake. Like there's no way that was good.
There's
And it was
some
like,
good sources on there, man.
well, there were a lot of good sources on there, but I was also making my own. So,
Ah.
so like I know what I was making. I know what I was
Right.
putting in it. So yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it worked great at just 300 a week too.
I think so.
So,
Yeah. I think that's what we
yeah,
all learned from this forum. Like, Tren, that's one of the few compounds where less is better and more.
yeah, yeah.
Like with
It
Primo, more is usually better until your
mhm.
wallet kind of starts crying.
Right.
But with Tren, like 50 milligrams a week,
Yeah.
maybe the
No,
off
yeah. Now,
season and then
mhm,
prep. You can prep guys in 225 a week. Of course, they
sure,
look harder and denser on 700,
sure.
but their careers is kind of short,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
way.
Well, yeah,
But
that's
well,
just it. It's like you get all the benefits of Tren on like 50 to 100 a week, and
mhm,
then you go up from there, and it's almost just like the side effects start piling on.
yeah,
And
and
like,
that's
sure, yeah, you can get harder on it, but is it worth, all the not being able to sleep and going hypo all the time and
yeah,
all the
raging and
sweating?
sweating and
Yeah, yeah.
you have one bite of your meal and you already start dripping.
Oh man, did you like that was probably the biggest thing when I was using, 200 to 300 Tren a day was
Mhm.
that I would just go hypo. I was going hypo like 3 times a day. That was like the
Holy
worst.
crap!
It was ridiculous. Like because I would
I
eat a
can
meal.
imagine. Yeah, then
Well,
you
it was
feel good for like
ridiculous.
10 minutes. You
Yeah, well, I
start
would
sweating and then you
yeah.
go hypo.
So back then I would walk to like I worked at a gym. I was a personal trainer and I would walk
Mhm.
there. It was about a mile walk. And I so many times I would eat right before leaving, and then I would start walking to work, and halfway I could feel it just start to come over me, and I'm just like, "Son of a bitch." I'm half a mile from work, I'm going hypo,
Yeah.
and,
The gas
at
station
that
is right
time
there and you walk in
exactly.
sweaty.
It's like there's a Walgreens over here. Yeah, and you go in there and grab, a box of Mike and Ike's or Swedish Fish or something, because carbs, like, whatever, who cares if
Right.
it's sugar? I mean, it was just yeah,
Good
that
days. So what did you walk what kind of side effects, like weird side effects, did you walk away from that experience? Like
I
any
mean
weird dreams or just all the side effects you commonly get from trend, but 10 times worse?
it was just yeah, it was just everything was just amplified,
Mm.
um, drenched in sweat at night. The hypoglycemia thing was probably the craziest thing because like I, I I felt like I didn't really get that on like 300 to 350 trend,
No,
and not at all on 50 to 100 a week. But
no.
that was insane. Was the hypoglycemia was really scary because it would happen just so randomly. Like I remember training someone, and I'd just be we'd be going through a set or whatever, and then it's so
Yeah,
weird when
it's
you
like
know you're going to
it's
go
like the light
hypo.
goes off. You're like,
Yeah, Yeah,
And then
it's so weird
your
how you
cheeks
know.
sucked in, and then you start sweating profusely. You don't even know where you are, and all you
Yeah,
have in the back of your head, I need carbs
yeah,
right now. And you
yeah.
frantically
It's
start
the
looking
weirdest
for
thing.
them.
Like when you know you're gonna go hypo, it's like somebody just flicks a switch and you're like, oh
Mhm.
shit, like here it comes. Okay. And so I would just like put my hand on something and just
Mhm.
try to keep like counting and making sure that my client's okay. And
Yeah.
I would just try to focus. And the next thing you know, I just start dripping in sweat and my shirt would be soaked. And I was just like, son of a bitch. And there was a couple of times where my client would like look at me and they'd be like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'll
You're
get
gonna
through
go,
it. It's fine.
go get a Gatorade.
Well, there were some times where I'd be like, I'm going to grab something to eat real quick. I'd run up to the
Right.
front and grab like a protein bar or something. Um,
Yeah, you have to, man.
but that
It's
was the
yeah.
worst.
I think hypoglycemia, when you get a little bit more advanced, you do weird experiments like insulin and metformin, for example,
Well,
right?
so
A
it was,
lot.
I wasn't even on insulin or any of that
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean now, yeah, now I've dabbled a lot with Lantus and Humalog and metformin and
Yeah.
all those things, and I
And
go
I think,
way less hype. Like I don't go hypo at all now because I know what I'm doing. But
yeah, you know what you're
yeah,
doing, right? And of course, if you get very meticulous with your blood sugar, it's
yeah,
way easier to manage. But I think that's like all this foreign bro bullshit that we got started with, because people would just throw out protocols without any real understanding of how and what the human body worked. And then
yeah,
you're in your experimentation phase. You're
hmm
like, it sounds reasonable. Let's give it a try.
yeah,
And then all you get is like horrible side effects. So we try to actively try to prevent you guys from getting that,
hmm
but people still doing it though. I get messages like this every day. Oh, I'm taking
yeah.
200 Tren a day, and you know,
Well, yeah, some guys will just met like in my live stream. People will just ask. They'll just be like, you know, I'm 200 pounds. How much test primo and trend should I use? And I'm like,
Mhm.
there's a lot more that goes into it than just
Exactly.
what do you weigh,
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think we all start there though. I think
yeah,
you need to get a couple side effects and maybe some health scares, and then you realize, maybe I should,
you learn the
do
hard
this
way.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, learn a little bit, learn hard way, and then be a little bit more meticulous with what I'm doing.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank God we have YouTube now, so we can learn there.
Well, for real. I mean, that's it's huge being able to see like guys like you and me talking
Mhm.
about this stuff instead of just like an anonymous screen name and
It surprised me there's so little bodybuilder YouTubers. Right? I talked with Paul last week. He's like the
Mhm.
newest guy on the block. So we got you, we got me, we got Think Big Bodybuilding Media,
Yeah.
and then we got Paul, and nobody else is consistent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I started looking into that and I was
four.
like, yeah, yeah, some of my, chatters were trying to mention some other people and you'd go to their channel and be like, well, they're not consistent.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and of course, like Nick Walker and all these guys that are now competing at the Olympia, they do training videos and maybe a full day of eating, but
Yeah,
they're not sitting there answering questions or making informative videos, which is
right. They're
ideally
not
I would
talking
push.
about this stuff. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's always what pissed me off a little bit about the membership sites. I mean, I understand why some of the content needs to be behind the paywall, especially the hardcore content.
Yeah.
Um, but for fuck's sake, let's just put out a little bit more content on YouTube,
Mhm.
because that's the way you really drive the industry forward. Like, not everybody wants to be on a membership website or sign up for 5 different membership websites.
Yeah.
Dean's got one. Dr. Dean Said Smart, Jordan Peters, Mountain Dog. I mean, they're all great sources of information, but none of these guys really have a YouTube channel
Yeah.
that promotes actively like healthy practices and maybe
Yeah.
some alternatives, so we don't all end up hurting ourselves.
I mean, yeah, for real. It's too bad that more people don't, you know, talk about this kind of stuff. I was trying to think, what was I gonna bring up? I mean, I feel like Jordan almost tried to a little bit, but even
Yeah,
then, most of his stuff was just training more so.
I think
Um,
because steroids have a huge stigma. I'm
mhm.
sure you see it in your comment sections quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
The demeaning comments, the
Mhm.
drive-by shit comments,
Yeah,
and I think a lot of guys who just don't know how to handle that.
Mhm.
But if you get a little bit more experience on YouTube, like in the beginning, it took it personal, and now I'm like, yeah,
Oh
whatever. You
yeah,
can't please anybody, and you just
that's
keep powering ahead. to bring out the best content for our community and maybe help some tier 2 guys and people are into general fitness, because I realized that as my channel is growing, you have like different kinds of audiences. You have a group of naturals, you have a group of hardcore bodybuilders, you have a group of people who are only interested in business or just want to watch the podcast, right? Just kill time. So you kind of have to please everybody. I think a lot of bodybuilders make the mistake that think that everybody else is a bodybuilder too.
I think that that definitely happens, especially in my live streams. I have to remind myself that not everybody in here is has been through the GH15 forum or all that kind of stuff.
Maybe that's a good thing,
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, that was it was a good board though. I met a lot of cool people through there, people that I still know today. Yeah. Like when I was in Thailand, I was already in the GH15 boards, and I met a lot of guys that were also living in Thailand. Some of those guys I still have contact with nowadays. So it's and they actually became quite successful over here. One of them is now the strongest powerlifter. Another one is the biggest Thai bodybuilding and powerlifting channel here. And then you have me, the foreigner that's kind of stuck here and doing his own thing. And I met like people that had like huge meal improvement blogs. The Bold and Determined guy, Nick Kelly, was retired now. So it was a good board. Just the information was just like a frat party, 300 micrograms of T3 per day.
The T3 I went through. Oh man, the most T3 I ever went through was 150 a day, and I realized that was a terrible idea when I had gotten home from work one day and I was just like laying in bed, just, kind of decompressing. And I realized I was just feeling like this in my chest. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, is that my heart? And then, I had, something a watch that could track my heart rate back then. And I looked at it and it was like in the low 90s. And I'm like laying in bed. I was like, oh man, maybe this is not a good thing. So then it was like, okay, let's back off on that.
You didn't know about beta blockers at the time, probably.
No, I did not. No,
I'll just sleep it off.
Right. Yeah. Nabivolol was not even on the radar at that point.
It's so funny, like all these beta blockers and preventative measures that we use nowadays, telmisartan, ezetimibe. I think it's the awareness has only been there for 2 or 3 years. It's really short. So that's why I'm always wondering, like the things we do now, even now we're super proactive and way more informed than we were 10 years ago. But when you look at, let's say, 10 years ahead, I still wonder, like all the shit we're doing right now, maybe we think it's stupid 10 years from now also.
It
wouldn't surprise me.
It'll be interesting. I mean, shit like that. What just came out about metformin talking about
infertility.
It was genital defects in like your kids if you were on it. Like the 3 months prior to, something like that.
So I think that I read that study partially. It was a little bit short on time, but I think the conclusion is that the people who are prescribed metformin are not generally healthy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was just like,
so there's a correlation, but it's a disease that they have, not the actual metformin.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt as well.
Yeah, because like, you don't get prescribed. It's not like general people are not like bodybuilders who are like, okay, we have metformin and we can inhibit this pathway and then improve our insulin sensitivity and extend the quality of our life. That's off-label use.
Yeah,
these people actually use it because they're pre-diabetic.
Yeah, these people are sick.
These people are sick, and they probably got themselves sick because diabetes in a lot of cases is a lifestyle disease.
For sure. Yeah.
And what else are they doing? The oxidative stress in their testicles.
Oh man,
smoking, drinking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
For sure, just eating crap all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And that's how you get pre-diabetes.
Yeah.
And we eat crap maybe on a Saturday or Sunday. Let's wait for the cheat meal.
Right. Yeah. Maybe once a week.
Right. Yeah. Most of the time we're quite regimented.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you've been playing Elden Ring. I want to know. I want to play this game so bad, but I don't have time. I want to know.
Oh man,
how badass is it? But is Elden Ring more complicated than bodybuilding or not? So we can all relate for the guys that didn't have time yet.
I mean, it's a hard game, but
Uh,
it's a lot of fun. As far as like, I think it probably is more complicated than bodybuilding.
shit.
now that now that
That's what
we,
it looks like.
I mean,
I've
it's pretty ridiculous.
I've been trying to follow some
But it's a
like
huge
this
game.
build. You build this game this way, and did your character this way. And I'm
Mhm.
looking at it like, man,
Oh yeah,
that's a lot to get into, dude.
it's like, I don't play games. Like,
Hmm.
I say that. Like, I don't play games except for, like, this company, like, From Software that made Elden
Oh,
Ring.
yeah, all the
I
Dark
play
Souls you
all
played
like,
also. Yeah.
I've always like, their games for the since what? Like, since, I mean, 2010? I've been playing, like, every single one of their games that came out, like,
Yeah.
they've been excellent. So, like, when I heard about this game, I was like, you know, it might have been 2 or 3 years ago. I was really
Uh,
looking
yeah.
forward to it, and I really haven't played much, any other games until they release
Hmm.
something. But like going into it, I was like, man, I'm not gonna have time to do this. And then the next thing I know, I've put a stupid amount of time into this game. Like, it's been out. It came out in February, the end of
Hmm.
February. So it's been out maybe 5 or 6 weeks at this point,
Uh,
and I beat it last weekend, but of course you can go through it over and over
yeah.
again.
Mhm.
And I'm like 98 hours in is what I have
Holy shit.
clocked. I know. I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me? What have I
Yeah.
done?" Yeah. So it's like,
All your
okay,
clients are like,
I
Sage, where
know.
are you?
I'm like,
All the
I
emails are piling up.
I know that I do have time to
Mhm.
sit down and edit some videos.
Right.
So it's like,
So that's why
there
you're live
the time
streaming
is
now.
there.
So you just throw it on YouTube and you don't have to edit.
Well,
Just do
I've been
timestamps.
yeah, I mean, it certainly helps to live stream and play
Yeah.
games, um, but yeah, that is something that definitely, made me realize I have a lot more time than I really think that I do.
Usually, yeah. Like, but if you want to play a game, I think it's fine. The last game
I
I played was Legend of Zelda. You
Sure.
know, that's my
Yeah.
game. I've been
Yeah.
doing that since Ocarina of Time.
Mhm.
And so I was patiently waiting for a part two, and then they
Yeah.
just announced that it was going to be postponed until next year. So I'm
Oh.
sad, but I'm also happy that I'm not going to lose out on work for another
Oh,
for another
man.
year.
Yeah.
Because I
I mean,
would just
that's
commit for a month, you know.
yeah. I
I
mean,
would
yeah,
just
that yeah.
yeah, just
Just
make
go all in on
videos,
it.
go all in, level up my character to whatever, to the max, collect
Mhm.
all the items,
Yep.
and then
That's just it. Like, I want to 100% everything and then just be like, "Okay, I can set that
right, then you
aside."
put it away. Yeah, then it's completed, right?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
you reach your
closed.
goal, right? You
Yeah.
can close that book. No,
Yeah.
I think once in a while you gotta do it, but oh man, this
It's
Elden
nice
game
to
looks
pass by
amazing.
some time. It is amazing. Yeah, it's definitely because they've put out From Software's put out, I mean, what they've got Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2,
Mhm.
and 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and then this one. So 7 games. This one's
Mhm.
definitely the best and the biggest, in my
Yeah,
opinion. And, like, it combines a little bit of everything, and then the fact that it's an open world game where you can
right,
literally go anywhere that you look
right. And then you
is
realize you can
pretty
go
cool.
underground also.
Yeah, and then there's underground. Yeah, yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, it's a really, I highly recommend it, but it is
Uh,
very difficult. Like, if you're not used to
I probably
From
get too
Software's games,
frustrated from the tutorial area already.
some of some of my
Yeah.
friends, they were like, they were watching me play, and they bought it. They said they played it for about an hour and then they returned it because they just couldn't.
Oh,
They was just too hard for them.
but it's very unforgiving, it
Frustrating.
seems. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's hard, but that's kind of the point of it, is they don't want you to be able to just run through it, like, you know,
Yeah.
but
I see
it's
people
cool.
still
It's
finish
fun.
the game in 20 minutes though.
I saw that. Yeah. The speedrunners. Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's amazing, these guys they
It's just ridiculous that all the tricks that they learn
right.
and figure out, and
You're like,
just
is it you're still playing a game where you see them walking through the walls and stuff?
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, there's some glitch in the game. not in the current patch, but from the patch before,
Mm-hmm.
where if you like hold your weapon a certain way and move a certain way, it'll
Yeah, you can
shoot
just
you all the way across the screen. Yeah, it's like, okay, well,
and it's the same with
that
Doom,
works.
right? They use a scroll wheel or something when they jumped, and they would just jump out of the map.
On Doom, is that what you said?
Yeah, on Doom,
Yeah.
the latest one, I think they use a scroll
Yeah,
wheel,
that's
and they would
funny.
just jump super, super high and just out of the map and just float to the other side. And with Link to the Past, you have arbitrary code execution,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you have to do a particular sequence of movements and button presses, and
Uh-huh.
if you do it right, you go straight from the tutorial area to the end credits. 7 minutes.
Oh, geez. That's ridiculous. Yeah, how
If
do people figure that kind of stuff out, though? That
They
seems
got a
like
lot of free time.
a lot of free time.
They got
Yeah.
a lot of free time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we could do something like that for bodybuilding, where we can,
Oh,
level up our body in 7 minutes, but we don't have
right.
to do any of the unhealthy stuff.
Yeah. I
And
think that's I think that's what a lot of people are trying to do. That's what a lot of people ask me questions about.
right.
It's like, "Oh, man." Like, even like new people that are getting into it, that's why I hate part of me hates like talking about my own cycle and stuff, but
Yeah.
I always have to say, like, this is what I've progressed to. This is where I am. Like, don't just jump into this and do what I do,
Yeah.
but still people freaking do it. Like, I had a new client who was like new to
Mhm.
all this stuff. And I was like, okay, so let's break it down. What are you doing? And he was on 1,000 tests
Mhm.
and whatever else, and 10 IU's of growth hormone,
Wow.
and he's 170 pounds. And right. And I was just like, dude, no, this is not how to do it. And then I was like, okay, let's check your blood sugar. And his blood
Yeah.
sugar's, through the roof
Of
all the
course.
time. And I
That's
was
a
just
lot of
like,
GH.
dude, yeah, I was like, dude, this is all bad. Like, stop, let's stop everything.
Stop it.
Stop, go back to the beginning and start over, and let's get you
But
right.
I think that guys that, like, I've had some clients that come to me, like that before, that are on a boatload of stuff, and you cut their dosages in a quarter,
Mhm.
and there's just nothing there.
Yeah,
There's no discipline, right? And you can't progress them anymore. It's like
exactly.
the receptors are fried, which I don't believe in, because they have an eight
Yeah,
and a half hour half life, so they
sure.
turn over quite fast.
Yeah.
But it's like there's so much burden of steroids, and they level up a
Mhm,
little bit, but
mhm,
because the foundation isn't there,
mhm.
you take them down a notch to a TRT to learn the foundation,
Well,
but
yeah.
it's like they can't piece it together.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like you take somebody that's like that and you start looking at all the little things that they were actually doing, and they literally just weren't doing anything. Like, they're just their eating is terrible. Their
Yeah,
training is random, like,
yeah,
and they're just trying to make up for it all with gear,
yeah.
and they're just
It's
killing
frustrating,
themselves
huh?
slowly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy. Like,
It's
it scares me mostly. It's just like, I wonder, what percentage of our population is going about it that way, where they have no clue and they're just like, I'm just gonna
a
take
lot.
steroids.
I think it's
Yeah,
less than before, because of channels like ours, where we
for
actively
sure.
try to, we all make mistakes. It's understandable,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's also exciting to experiment. Yeah, I mean, I still like to experiment myself. It
Yep.
just I think everybody needs to go through that phase where they realize, okay, I took my gram of Tren or 2 grams of Tren. It didn't work. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna go a little bit, or you see your creatinine go a little bit too high for comfort, you know?
That's something else that's really, I really wish I would have taken blood work, back in the day, because I had
Mhm.
no idea what anything looked like. I was just
Oh,
taking
really?
shit,
Okay.
and yeah, so like when I was on, stupid amounts of Tren, I had no clue
Mhm.
what my blood work looked like, because I didn't know that we were supposed to be taking blood work. I
No.
didn't know that we were
Yeah.
supposed to watch all those health. I was so unaware of everything that I was doing. It was just like, I mean, yeah, I was where a lot of people are still now. Yeah.
Do you feel you did some permanent damage?
Yes, I if anything, I'm probably gonna have, early onset Alzheimer's, but I don't
So
I
that's how
don't
much you took so much Tren, huh?
it's gonna yeah, that's coming at 40 no, I don't think so. I mean,
Uh-huh.
everything's checking out, you know, positively, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, not that I know of yet, so Will keep my
Yeah,
fingers
I always
crossed.
feel that I burned my body a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
Like I pushed it. Like I think my blood work is now representative of somebody who's like maybe 3 years older.
Maybe,
something like
I
that.
could see
4
that.
years older.
Yeah.
Like even on my last cycle was peanuts. People didn't even believe me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still see my liver enzymes creep up and my creatinine creep up and my creatine phosphokinase creep up. And I'm like, I don't even know if it's, if I can push it further than a gram nowadays, where I still feel comfortable. And maybe, my risk intolerance is now getting lower and lower and lower, where I feel like, okay, I don't want to have a hematocrit of this high and I don't want to have a creatinine of this high.
That's the other thing that kind of thinks maybe that's kind of just holding people back a little bit, like on, because you don't want your health to suffer, but
you're gonna have to, if you want to go somewhere, you're gonna have to push it.
Maybe that's something that a lot of guys aren't caring about, to go on, to the next level, because that's what really like interests me is like I wonder if, because like my hematocrit was a 60, way back then. I wonder how many guys like run super high hematocrit and don't even know,
I see it all the time, dude.
Oh, really?
I see it all the time. Because
I don't see enough blood work to know.
I see, do you ever talk with Dante Trudell?
Yeah. He got
okay,
me on Astragalus and IP6.
Right. So you talk with him, and then once in a while he lets out a message, and it's like, why am I even bothering? But because the guys just keep coming, right? The guys that with high hematocrit, high creatinine, they just keep coming. But I think the awareness is getting there. But the guys that do want to push it to the highest level, they will push anyway.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, like, before, like 10, 20 years ago, when I was getting really into bodybuilding, you look at those guys, you're like, holy shit, they're huge and they're super healthy. and now you look a little bit deeper, like, this guy's got heart enlargement, this guy's got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, this one is a kidney failure, and kidney failure is getting way more common. And I think that's maybe a lot of us are a little bit scared. And that's why, like, the guys that I see with like phenomenal genetics, I tell them to listen, as long as you monitor your health, you're one of the few who can actually push it. But a normal guy like me, or with an average response, you can push it, but not pro size. I don't think I'd probably kill myself. Getting.
I mean, I think the same way. Yeah, for myself. There's something that I stuck out to me that you were talking about in your talk with Paul was about like your IGF-1 doesn't go very high. Like I'm the same. Like I've been on 6 IUs of genotropin for at least the last couple months, and my last blood work, like my IGF-1 came back at 130. I was like, okay.
So it's the same for me. My IGF-1 goes maybe 270 or something on GH.
I think I've seen it in the 200s a couple times, but the last I don't know, the last handful of years, like IGF is not, because I see some guys are like 400, 500, whatever, and it's like
I've seen 800. Like,
really?
What the hell, dude? And they're not even running much.
Yeah. That is that I feel like I don't understand.
It's not fair.
What else going on there.
I do understand. It's just not fair, right? You have this bodybuilding aspirations, and you're like, yes, I'm going to go pro, or at least get freaky big. And then nature has different plans for you.
Yeah.
You want to get freaky big? Okay, here's some health issue.
Yeah,
you got to slow down.
Take it easy.
At least that way we learn.
Yeah, that's true.
At least that way we learn. So, what is the biggest that you ever got? Like, tell me your biggest size and your biggest cycle.
I mean, this year is like the biggest that I've been. A month ago, I hit 275.
Oh wow! Okay, good.
And now I'm sitting around like 267-ish. I'm kind of backing off, and I'm gonna kind of come back down. Like I did a show in, was that August?
Was that with JP
in August
last year? That was
that was a show. I did that, and then that was actually me and Jordan ended at that
Mhm.
show because that's when he was
Yeah, it was
done with
retiring. Yeah, it
taking
was.
clients. Yeah, he was like, so yeah, and I knew it was coming. He was just like,
Mhm.
so I'm I'm done with training people, and he's like, this is gonna
Yeah.
be it for us. And I was like, well, any advice going forward? He's like, don't get fat. I was just like, yeah.
Did you
And
sign up with somebody else after that, or are you just doing your own thing?
I mean, I've been doing my own thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to get in with John Jewett and see
Mhm.
kind of what his coaching was like, but once he like got into the Olympia, because I contacted him several
Mhm.
times talking about it, and he's like, I'm just not up for it right now, with the Olympia coming up and
Yeah, he's
all
got his
that. So,
website now, which seems to be very
yeah,
promising,
so I'm a member on his
Okay,
J3
good,
University.
good. I've
It's
heard
it's a
good things. Yeah,
yeah,
I've
it's a
heard good
really
things.
it's I really like it because it's all video. Like
Yeah.
you don't have
No,
to sit down and like read everything.
that's how it should be. You can't do
Yeah,
just text,
it's great.
text. It doesn't work anymore. So,
Yeah.
and he's a good presenter. Like, I
Hmm.
think uh John Jewett, if you're watching and if you do videos every day, or just take a 1 minute clip of the full videos, this guy
Hmm.
will bank so hard because he's got
Oh
the
man.
accolades. He's a pro card. He's got a pro card. His wife is a pro. They both compete. They're
Hmm.
both easygoing, happy-go-lucky people, even during prep.
For sure.
And
Yeah,
they made
their
it to
videos
the
are great.
Olympia. So
Hmm.
and John get freakily peeled. I think
Yeah.
he could really bank on his website if he
If he,
just
I mean,
promotes
yeah,
it
if
a
he
little bit better.
for real, I mean, yeah, if he because he doesn't really post very often on YouTube. Like he'll put up
That's about
something
like a
here and
bodybuilder
there.
thing. I never got that.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Because he's,
I have this brand, but I'm not going to post about it.
I mean, what does he have for? I think his subscriber count is maybe
Yeah,
like 10,000 or something. I'm
something
not
like
even
that. Yeah.
sure.
He
He's
posted something about insulin, and
12.
then
Yeah, he's at 12,000.
12,000. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
haven't seen a video for him in a week.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. Well, he did 4 days ago, but then it was
Oh,
on
all
Fat
right.
Loss Agents
All right.
against competitors. But yeah, the one before that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So once a week it seems like what he does. But yeah, I mean, if he got consistent doing like daily videos,
Yeah.
for sure his website would
He's got a great personality. I think he could really go
pick up a
far,
lot more.
Un
Yeah, for
unlike
sure.
unlike somebody I know.
I'm like, oh, I know. Man, that yeah.
Yeah, no
He
comment.
yeah. Report.
It's
I
a
feel
On that
bad for
topic, we should move over to IV growth hormone.
IV growth hormone. Yeah, so that's something I try. That so
While we're on
that
the subject.
for real. Yeah, no, so that's something that I did.
Yeah.
And I got it from the GH15 board. That
Oh,
was an
wow.
idea from there.
I think it was already
Um,
gone by that time, but I know people that are doing it. Yeah, I actually coach
well,
people who do it.
it was posted about on there a long time ago, and I
Mhm.
knew about it. I just never had the guts to try it.
Yeah.
Um, but like the claim was that like, oh gosh, so I was trying to go on the GH forum before we started so I could try to find it,
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
for whatever reason the forum's down today. So I wonder why. But so the claim was like doing 1 IU of
Mhm.
IV growth hormone would spike serum GH levels like 100 times more
It does.
than yeah. The thing so I would do, multiple shots of 1
Mhm.
IU
Oh,
IV,
wow.
which is it
Cumbersome.
the
Very
yeah, it
cumbersome.
sucks. Yeah, IV
Mm.
shots suck.
Did you do pharmaceutical or underground?
Yeah, no, yeah, it was
Pharmaceutical, yeah,
pharmaceutical,
yeah.
growth, but
It's I found it pretty doable with the Norditropin pen. So you take like 3 clicks, 1.2 IUs, and you take those BD microfines.
mhm.
Then it goes quite easy. The problem is if you accidentally get a little bit of blood into the pen, it denatures all of the GH.
Is that true? Is that
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely
So
did that a few times.
you gotta press it down, right? And then
Uh,
if you remove it from the vein,
Well, so I didn't do it that way.
If you do, if you press it down, you release, and then you remove it, then sometimes a little bit of blood comes in, and I think there's like some or some coagulation factor or something in the blood, and you just see the whole thing just go white, like it's crystallizing or freezing, and I'm like,
start freaking out.
No, there's like $200.
Yeah,
what the hell?
No, so I never did it through the pen. I would draw it through an insulin needle.
Smart.
I would draw it and then I would backload it into another.
Okay.
So that the needle was sharp. And then from there I would do the IV injection. But to say like whether or not it was like worth it, I don't feel that I noticed any significant difference in it. I mean, it certainly didn't change my IGF-1 numbers. It didn't.
So what I think is that I think the guys that have good IGF-1 response. So what I've seen on blood work from some of the Arabs and the Indians that competed at the WBPF World Championships, they're subject to drug testing, so they do all kinds of extreme shit.
Yeah.
To perhaps under my guidelines. To beat the drug test, right? Because they get drug tested maybe a month before the show, and then they get random drug tested on the day of the show. If you're an overall champion or you're a class winner, then it's very likely that you get drug tested. So you have to make sure that the clearance times are accurate,
right,
and that there's no overlap. So a lot of guys will do IV stuff, and albumin amino acids as diuretics because they have diuretics testing, and so we use plasma expanders.
Wow.
And then injectable vitamin C to act as a diuretic, right? There's a lot of IV stuff.
Yeah.
And growth hormone was a part of that. And I think the guys that had, responded very well liver-wise for IGF-1 production, they got awesome results. And what did I do? Yeah. What did I do? I use IV like 2 or 3 times at the cookie cutter dosing protocols, right? Before fasted cardio, before workout, maybe before bed, or like what you said, like 1 IU every 2 hours. A couple hours over the day away from food. Those guys would respond well, but when I tried it, and I guess when you tried it, it's like same stuff. So you tried it for 4 weeks,
and much of a difference.
I did it 4 weeks, and I didn't notice the difference. But I did inject one time 2 IUs IV, and then went in for a serum test. 120 nanograms per milliliter.
Yeah.
3 times high, or 4 times higher than the 10 I use intramuscular. So a lot of guys that wanted to ask me, well, what about the potency of this GH? I said, I use IV and check it 5 minutes later.
There you go.
It's 5 minutes because it circulates. The heart pumps all the blood around, and it gets homogeneous. Equally dispersed in about 5 minutes. And if you wait longer, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it starts to metabolize already, because GHF has a half-life in serum of 17 to 20 minutes or something.
Oh yeah, it's in and out quick.
Yeah, so the timing is quite narrow. So if you miss it by a couple of minutes, it's only 80 nanograms per deciliter. And then some guys say, I waited 10 minutes. It's 50 nanograms per deciliter. It must be fake. You just waited too long. But if you do it too fast, if you pin and then draw, then the GH isn't dispersed yet. So 5 minutes. But again, my recommendation would be, unless you have a super healthy and cooperative liver,
for sure,
it's probably not worth it.
I didn't like, I did that. I did a lot of that last year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't really notice much of it. I mean, like I said, like it didn't take me further along last year than what I got to this year as far as like off season goes. So
we did this experiment, so you don't have to, guys.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, like I did the growth hormone IV, but I also did a little bit of carnitine IV.
Oh yeah, you told me. Yeah. So how was that?
Yeah.
Did it burn?
No.
It felt like gonorrhea?
So that was the whole perk of it, was that it didn't hurt at all. And there was, there's no, you have no pip from it. You have no, I don't know. It was great. Yeah. So that the only thing that sucked is you had to do a freaking IV injection.
Yeah. But I just do it sub-Q now. Just half a cc sub-Q, and it stings a little bit, but it's part of the game. I think I'm gonna do everything sub-Q from now on, not even intramuscular anymore, because I got so much scar tissue in my glutes from glute shots. Yeah, like I tried to actively avoid the shoulders and the lats and all, because it's visible, right? And then you do a backable bicep and there's nothing there. There's no separation anymore. So I've been doing glutes mostly, and now there's so much scar tissue in there, and I need so much treatment on it that I just realized, like, you know what? I got knee pain and hip pain from all these glute shots.
Yeah. I
So
I stopped doing glute shots a while ago because I felt like it was messing with my leg days, like in like my lower back and stuff.
Right. It was very tight, right? Especially if you go high volume,
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about the IV carnitine? Do you feel that's a worthy route to go, or is it?
I mean, I really liked it. I think that it was, I thought that it was, I liked it because I could do, so this is something that I think is questionable to a lot of people, is like the amount of carnitine that people use, because like, you were mentioning half a mil. I mean, that's probably like a reasonable dose. That's like 200 milligrams or so.
No. So this is pharmaceutical carnitine that I have. Somehow it's dosed at 1,000 milligrams per 1 ml.
What? That's pretty good.
So I'm not even sure how that's even possible, but it's registered. It's registered in the FDA database here.
Wow.
So it is a true pharmaceutical product. So half a mil is 500 milligrams. But again, I have no fucking idea how that's actually possible.
Yeah, I don't either. Because I make my own carnitine, and the best that I can get it to hold is 600 milligrams per milliliter.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah.
So,
so
I was using that
who knows?
IV.
Oh, that IV. Did you dilute it? Did you dilute it, or like a slow push?
It was a slow push, but so another man, I experiment. I feel, talking to you, I feel like I'm experimenting. All this stuff I'm just like talking about. Everybody's, and they're gonna be like, "Who is this guy? What is he doing?"
I'm the same, dude. I mean, like when I go through all my YouTube channels, sometimes I make like a list. Like I did all these peptide experiments. I didn't even make videos about it because I felt it wasn't worth it. Like deep sleep inducing peptide or something like that. D-SIP. I tried all kinds of peptides, and most of them I couldn't notice a difference. I didn't see a difference on blood work. Then I made a list. Like I did all these experiments during this cycle of 8 months, and I realized, like, fuck, it's like 25 compounds. Yeah, and I didn't even make videos on half of them, because it didn't really work, or I didn't see the benefits or practical application. So you're amongst friends. Please share.
Yeah, so so I did dilute it. But it was with injectable ephedrine. Which was which was was another pretty awesome. That's
more than 10? Was it more than 10 milligrams?
I was doing. I would do 25 milligrams because like a vial, 1 mil was 50. 1 mil was 50.
You must have been buzzing.
That I have. It wasn't it. I would take it pre-workout. So I mean, I would take it pre-workout with my pre-workout drink and my carnitine and growth hormone. I mean, whatever, fucking like 12 shots a day. But I did this. I mean, yeah, it is. But so like I did that. That was during last year's contest prep. Like when I was probably about 8 weeks out is when I really started bumping that stuff in. But I would fill up. I would fill up. What was it? 4? Yeah, I was filling up four syringes. It would be a quarter of it would be, no, that's not right. 2 syringes, because a quarter of it would be ephedrine, and then the rest of it would be L-carnitine, and I would do that with 2, and then shoot those IV. But I felt that was extremely effective.
Yeah, so I do notice, like with the comparison with oral L-carnitine and injectable, is that the injectable carnitine almost acts as a nootropic. So you feel like like opened
so
up?
Like my brain. Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that I noticed from carnitine was because when I was doing it, I mean, before I was doing it without the ephedrine, and so I definitely got a feel for it without it. But that was the biggest thing that I noticed was like the mental clarity that you would get from it, and just be like in such a good mood. It was really weird. Like I was making a video one day and I was just like walking to the gym, and I like had my camera and I was talking or whatever. And I was like, I feel really good right now.
This shit should be illegal.
This is like, I've been in like a really good mood. Like I'm deep into prep. What is going on?
Yeah.
But yeah,
you had the ephedrine in there, and then you're in a really
then you add that in. Yeah,
I think people don't understand. Like when you're in prep and you're mat depleted, you add in a little bit of ephedrine. It just you're like, it's like a go pill.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, I do understand what people would prefer Adderall in that context, but ephedrine is a little bit better for fat burning. But man, it's like it wakes you up. You're like this, and then 4 hours later, you're like narcoleptic, falling asleep, which is perfect because if you take this before your workout, you get your workout in, you get your post-workout meal, maybe a shot of insulin if you're crazy enough to take a nap while after taking Humalog, fast-acting insulin.
Yeah,
you know, it comes with the territory, and then you take your 1 hour, 2 hour post-workout nap.
Yeah.
And then some people would top up, obviously, but people don't understand what's going on. Yeah, but it is required, and you see it a lot of guys with the interviews that they do for bodybuilding shows. They're clearly on ephedrine and a ton of it.
Yeah,
you know, they got that narcoleptic blink, like, and then start talking again. You know, that's ephedrine. It's very clear to tell for the guys that understand, but it's just part of prep. You know, when you get like below 6% body fat, you just want to sleep all day.
Yeah,
you can't get anything done.
That's so that, you know, you bring that up, like that was one thing that that probably Jordan really opened my eyes up to was just being active throughout the day. And like so I never tracked steps. I never paid attention to my step count at all, and realized, like, you know, if I didn't have a step goal, like I wasn't going to move the rest of the day. Like I was gonna sit on the couch and I was gonna wait for the next meal and be just a zombie. But I felt like that was that just helps keep things consistent, you know.
You got a step counter or maybe a standing desk that keeps your body active. Like a sitting desk is probably the worst thing you can do when you're in prep. You know, I should do it year round. Of course, you get a little bit lazy. It's but it does help a lot during prep. Yeah, your feet will be fucked, of course, at the end of it with the cardio on top.
I mean, I was doing like 16,000 steps by the end of the prep. Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, but it worked.
No, I know. And I mean, you looked fucking shredded at the last show. Yeah,
I mean, it was good. Yeah, but
for sure.
It was definitely something something I had never paid attention to. That he kind of opened my eyes up to about just being active in the damn day.
Right. You get your step counter and you do these little chores and just doing your dishes manually. And ideally you stay active the whole day. You don't have to do so much cardio. And just at the end, it gets very, very tiring. And that's usually where, you know, the stimulants come into play. And then after the show, everybody's got adrenal fatigue.
Oh yeah.
You know, you just lay there.
For sure. Yeah. The pendulum swings hard one way and then it swings hard the other way, which, you know, you have to understand it's just going to happen.
But, and I think for like, are you naturally like a lean guy, or does it take a lot of effort? No,
I feel it's very easy for me to put on weight. Like I said, I got to 275 a month ago, and that was without even pushing food. Like I'm not even trying to like eat hard. It just that's just kind of where things went, eating by feel, eating casually, you know, eating well. But yeah, I was surprised that my weight like came back so high, because like I really did not plan to get back up into like 260, 270. Like last off season, the highest that I got was like 270, but like fed and post workout and like all of this. And I never planned to like get back to that place after my show. And it was like, so I had my show, and then I had my wedding in December. And I was like,
oh, that's only 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Congratulations there. I didn't realize
you.
that was so okay, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
But so the thing is like after the show, it was like, okay, I don't want to just completely let go and just like grow and do my thing, because I got to fit into a suit.
Of course,
and,
of course.
And I've got to get sized for a suit like at least
a month
like
out.
Well, it was like 2 months before the wedding.
Oh no!
And then it shows up a month before the wedding. Yeah. So then it shows up a month before the wedding. We try it on to see if it fits, and then they have time to adjust it if they need to.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so let's try to, because what was it? It was August. Yeah, so I had like 2 months after the show to grow, and then it was like, okay, whatever I weigh at this point, I have to weigh that on December. so I was 250 2 months before the wedding, and then a month goes by, and I was 260. The suit shows up. I know the suit shows up. Pants won't get out. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And they're like, okay, we can try to let the pants out a little bit. And I'm like, all right. So I give it back to them, and I come back 2 weeks later. So now we're 2 weeks out from the wedding.
275.
No, so I managed to hold at 260, and I was just, it was so annoying. But like, so then I go back and try the pants on again. Pants still didn't fit, and I was like, oh shit. And they were like, we're gonna have to completely remeasure you and send out for pants. But they were like, but they're not gonna get back in time. So
you just got the old like the Ronnie Coleman pants.
No.
You know,
right. The big
the American flag,
right, do that. No, yeah. So then we ended up just like going to a shop and just picking up a basic black pair that were a little more stretchy and could fit well. So, but it worked. I mean, it worked out. There was just there was so much like holding back, like leading up to the wedding, and then when my wedding hit, then I felt like I could finally relax and like go into an off season. And and then at that point I also oh man, there were just a lot of things that I would never do. Like, because the other thing that happened post show, between the show and the wedding, I stayed on like a low dose cycle to help prevent from just getting super fat.
Turning the shit.
And so then it was like December hit, the wedding happened, I dropped everything, and so I was pretty much on nothing all of December. And we went on our honeymoon and all of that, and and then we came back and I started cycling again and started doing everything again. The next thing I know, I was 275, and I was like, holy shit. Like,
maybe you need a little break, sometimes it's good. A little bit of cruising and some time off, and
for sure.
Some good eating on the honeymoon.
But yeah, all of that to say, I definitely am not a naturally leaner guy. Growing up, I definitely like, I didn't actually, I didn't have abs until like, that was like always the goal from all of high school. Most of college, like, I just want to see my abs. And that didn't happen until like close towards probably sophomore year of college.
You feel that every time you dieted, like all the muscle you built in the off season, that by the time you were really lean, that a lot of the muscle was away, like gone.
Oh yeah.
From the
for sure.
So we're both not really built for this stuff, but we're still struggling, still powering through.
Well, that was another thing that I really saw with Jordan last year, was learning about the whole thing about how to adjust your training as you're getting deeper into a cut, and how you kind of need to back off on your volume to kind of mitigate the fatigue factor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just start just getting more and more fatigued and more run down, and then you just start dumping off. I don't know. I felt like my legs really disappeared the last probably 4 to 6 weeks leading into the show. But I kept, so big mistake that I made with my competition was trying to just keep pushing the weights, and I was my strength was dropping rapidly, and I tried to make up with it with volume by just adding in more volume and less weight.
Oh no!
And I was just like, this is not working. But I felt that I couldn't tell Jordan that, because he's so into being strong and doing stuff. But I think if I would have told him, he would have been like, back off on the volume, so that you can keep some intensity.
It's very, I think at the end, what I noticed myself with clients, we're in contest prep, like you're so honed in at the end that you tend to overlook a lot of things, because you're really stuck in your way. Like, it's been working up until now, so I'm going to keep doing it. But in reality, you need to make a couple changes. It's okay to take days off. It's okay to drop the volume in half, or to have a high day, an extra high day. It's for us, a lot of us would kind of self-destruct.
Yeah, it did. No, I totally did, and I didn't even realize it until I started. That's when I started learning more about what John Jewett was talking about.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm going to join his J3 University. I started watching his videos, and then there was a topic on that leading into the show, and this fatigue. And then it just clicked in my head, and I was like, oh shit, this is what I'm doing wrong right now. And it was just, from that moment, I was like, okay, drop all these sets. And basically the last 4 weeks leading into my show, it was extremely low volume and just trying to get my intensity back and keep pushing heavy weight. But
and then you're in the gym for an hour, you're like, oh, that's not enough. But in that case, when you're sub 6% body fat, that is enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not like you're going to build any new muscle tissue, you're just trying not to burn it away.
Yeah.
While you're burning body fat. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a mind fuck, man. I think a lot of people didn't understand how much goes into play the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it was such a mind fuck, and it is more of a mind fuck that I didn't want to tell my coach that I was getting weaker. I didn't want to be like, and it was just like, damn it, I should have just told him so that he could have been like, because I guarantee he would have known what to do. Like, looking back at it,
of course. Yeah, you still need the feedback as a coach,
Yeah,
especially when you're so busy.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's probably the only regret that I have about when I trained with Jordan, that I didn't tell him that leading up to the end. But
so like, I live and learn. I think if you have a new coach maybe in the future, or you do your own prep, if you'll keep learning.
Well, for sure. Yeah, it's just you learn.
It's still good to have a second eye. So like. The gym that you're training at, are there a lot of bodybuilders, or are you by yourself? Like, you're the biggest guy in the gym, or the most knowledgeable guy in the gym?
I'm not. I feel like it depends on the year, time of the year. I definitely feel like I'm definitely probably up there with the biggest. There is I think there's 2 pros that work out at my gym. They're new. One of them like literally just turned pro last year in open bodybuilding.
Okay, that's good.
But he's planning on competing in 212, so he's like a smaller guy, but he's a very, very impressive physique. But he's also like 5'4" or something. But he's
short and sweet.
It's surprising. I mean, he's a thick little dude, but so yeah, there's him. I work out at Quad's gym in Chicago. I don't know if you've heard.
I think I've heard of that one. Yeah,
it's a pretty
big gym, right?
It's huge. Yeah, it's a pretty popular. It's kind of like the place to go in Chicago for gym. Like the walls are just covered with pictures and people's signatures that have been there.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
Pros and stuff.
Cool. So that's cool.
So
good atmosphere there.
It's pretty cool. The only thing I wish was different was the music, but you just put headphones in.
yeah. I think that's in most gyms,
Yeah.
It's in most gyms. They gotta keep up with the pop songs, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Same in
but
Muscle
otherwise
Factory
that
here in Bangkok. Yeah.
oh, yeah. Outside of that, the gym is huge. They've got ridiculous amount of equipment. However,
Mhm.
not the equipment that I see that you work at, like the leg equipment that I
Yeah.
see you on,
It's
yeah,
insane, right?
it's the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. I was like, "What is that?" Especially like
So
that huge one where you like have
the
to
H squat.
climb up to the like,
Yeah,
what is
it's hilarious.
that?
So Bart, like he's been bodybuilding since he was, I think, 15 years old. He's like close
Yeah,
to 50 now. He's been in Australia, Thailand, Holland. He's
yeah,
been all over the place. And he loves
yeah,
this stuff. You know, he competed
yeah,
himself in the universe. He won his class a couple of years ago. And he just, he's been building gyms his entire life. So
mhm.
he's opened up gyms in Dubai, in Thailand, multiple gyms, or
Wow.
consulted for gyms in Australia. And he just knows where to find all of this equipment.
Huh.
Just like he just comes to me in the middle of the workout. He shows me on the phone. He's like, I found this. It's very old, but I'm going to refurbish it, and it's coming in 4 months.
Wow.
So he
That's
just
awesome.
keeps collecting stuff,
Yeah,
and that's why the Muscle Factory is so great. I mean, it's a
yeah.
hot gym. There's no air conditioning, so it's brutally hot in
Oh,
there
wow.
at
Yeah, I
certain
bet.
points in the day. But if you train early enough or late enough, then it's doable. But he's
Yeah,
got he's got everything. The only thing that he misses is a hammer strength plate loaded leg press. That's the one that Jordan Peters always uses.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a little pendulum.
Sure,
And if
yeah.
he has that, he has everything.
Huh.
He has
Wow.
so much stuff. Yeah. And then of course,
Yeah.
I know all the equipment in all the other gyms here in Thailand because I've been here
Mhm.
for 15 years. So I know exactly which pieces are where. So I
Right.
got a Padia last week and I'm like, okay, I want to do this equipment for legs at this
Yeah,
gym.
yeah.
Right. And then the rest of the equipment sucks. But I'll just piece a workout together and then you got
Sure.
another workout clip.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you can do squats or 80 kilo goblet squats. Okay, 80 kilo goblet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do like
Right.
six reps, 2 sets, get the footage, show it off on
Yeah.
Instagram. Not
Yeah,
that it's very
right.
productive, but it's fun.
It's fun.
I'm doing ACG monotherapy right now. So
Uh-huh.
it's not like I'm gonna gain any size. I'm just trying to maintain
Yeah.
and just having fun with it, And then when the temperature cools down,
Mhm.
then I get back on cycle and then I'll make some progress again. But I don't think I'm gonna go over 230 pounds.
Yeah.
I think my days are over, And the weird thing is, I know that if I really wanted to, within 1 year, I could be 275.
Yeah. I'm sure
Yeah,
you could. Yeah.
yeah.
But it would
And
it's
I
like, but
secretly I
then what?
want to. Yeah, but then what, right? And
Yeah.
like, and in this climate, like, have you ever
Yeah.
been to Metroflex in
No.
in the States?
It's
Okay,
Texas? It's in
yeah,
Texas, right?
Texas,
Yeah.
yeah. So I met a couple
I bet it's
guys that
hot.
went to Metroflex and they come to Thailand and like, oh, it's pretty much the same. So,
Oh,
for the Americans, I would compare Muscle Factory to Metroflex.
wow.
The similar amount of grease and rust,
Mhm. That's
maybe a little
cool.
bit bigger. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
cool, but I don't see how you could walk around being 275 in there, off season, where you're
Yeah, that would be
like
tough.
full with insulin and carbohydrates.
I mean, yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, quads, they keep it air conditioned pretty
That's
well.
good. Yeah, that's good.
Um, yeah, I was trying to think, like, probably the coolest thing that quads has
Mhm.
is, the original, the original whole set
Mhm.
of Nautilus machines.
Oh,
Like, they look super old, but they look
the
like they're in good shape.
the
Yeah, it's really
pullover
surprising.
also, and
Yeah,
then the
all of
leg
them.
press. Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm pretty sure the leg press is in there too. Yeah, he's just got I don't really get in it very often, but,
Uh,
like, yeah, it's they look like antiques sitting in there.
mm,
Um,
the
that's probably the
the
coolest thing.
chain
Yeah,
pullover,
all the
right?
chain
Not
stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, everything's chained.
I've
Yeah, it's
done that
really
one. Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
You
Yeah.
can, like, when you're close to failure, it's very hard because the
Yeah.
chain, it's got so much torque and the resistance on it. You're like
Yeah.
fucking stuck on this thing. And then you got your
Yeah.
buddy there pushing it down. Like with cables or plate loaders, you don't really have
Uh-huh.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think I did those as well. And same as the old Panada
Yeah.
from Italy.
Yeah.
We have one gym here with old Panada
Yeah.
line. So they got
Yeah.
these super weird angles as well.
So, yeah,
It's a lot of fun, dude.
I've been on a lot of those, like, the Redcon 1 gym has
Hmm.
a lot of Panada stuff.
Good.
Um, it's really nice equipment, but yeah, it's some really strange, like,
They got
angles and
some very
stuff, I
weird
think.
designs, but it
Yeah,
works
yeah,
somehow.
Yeah,
We had
it's very
we had a
interesting.
Panada like in Spartacus gym in Holland where William Bonek used to train. I used to train the same gym as him.
Yeah.
And then they had a leg press there, and the amount of levers that was on there is amazing, but it
Yeah.
felt great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that I was kind of looking into. So like I'm opening a gym in
Okay, cool.
a couple months here. They're
Uh-huh.
redoing the whole inside, and that's taking a lot longer than I expected, but
Yeah. Mm.
it should be done in April, and then we can move the equipment into. But yeah, Panada is one that I was looking a lot at, but their stuff is expensive. Like it's
It's all
it's really
expensive.
nice though. I mean,
It's
it's all expensive, but yeah, Panada's on
wait,
another
what you can
level.
do, there's a guy, it's an old mod of the GH15 boards, Ergo.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Uh
Ergo.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he collects equipment. I'm sure he can hook you up.
Huh.
He's got
That's
so much
interesting.
equipment, it's insane.
Yeah.
I'll shoot
Hmm.
you his Instagram after this. He's I mean, he's close, he's like 56 now.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
he just keeps trading all those. I have no idea where he gets it from, but if you're opening up a gym, he would be the guy to ask. He would be able
Yeah.
to find pieces of equipment that nobody else has.
That's
And
interesting.
I think, like, if I wanted to open up a gym, I would just get the best equipment from any brand, like same as what
Yeah.
Muscle Factory has. You throw it all together, and it looks like a jumbled mess, but at least you have the bit. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like a fucking zoo in there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some gyms, they're very high tech. It's all the same color, same brand.
Mhm.
It's all lined up
Mhm.
nicely. But
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I like a gym that's messy and dirty. And this equipment, the leg is here, and then the other leg machine is there.
Yeah.
And then it's a total mess. But it's fun.
I I like the mess idea. Um, but I do like the
It doesn't sell
OCD.
though,
The
does it?
OCD in me likes things looking
Yeah.
what matching,
Right.
matching and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think if you got an H squat, that will for social media and Instagram. Yeah, but it gets, dude, the amount of traffic I get just from posting that machine, and you post it every
I
month,
bet.
and then people are like,
Yeah,
"Holy shit, that's over engineered," and then you post it a month later,
it's
it's like, "Holy shit, it's
ridiculous.
over engineered."
I don't know if it would fit. I don't even know if it would fit
It's
like that. How
tall.
tall is that thing? Yeah, it's huge.
It's I think it's over 3 meters, so it's 10
Yeah.
feet tall. Yeah,
I mean, it would probably fit, but you'd be I'd be looking at the ceiling, like I'd be right in there
yeah, yeah,
at the
yeah, yeah.
ceiling.
Yeah, you can put a
Yeah,
little TV there.
that
That's
thing's
silly.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun though, and the strength curve is really really nice.
Yeah,
You feel like a badass when you max it out. You put 8 plates per
probably.
side, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Then coming down with that machine is even worse.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fun gym. So if you're building something yourself, yeah, just
Mhm.
try to get all the unique equipment that nobody else has, because unique
Yeah,
equipment does the promotion for you.
that's true, yeah. I mean, the bulk majority of what I'm getting is, Atlantis equipment, but then,
Yeah, that's good. Hmm.
but then, yeah, I'm definitely looking at, like, some different random pieces to add in, that, like,
Hmm.
not a lot of places, uh, have. Um, like Rogers Athletics, they make that, squat squat pro machine.
Oh, the
That's
pro squat, the one you lean back into and you put one plate and you're close to
Oh, that's
failure.
that's the true form,
True
I
squat.
think.
Yeah, that's the true
Yeah.
squat. Yeah.
Quads has one of those. That thing is brutal. Yeah, that thing's
So that one I've never tried.
embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah, you put
That
like
one's
half a plate on there,
Oh,
you're
it's
like dead.
terrible. Yeah, no. Well, so what's really cool though is that the guy that I was talking about that turned pro,
Mhm.
the short guy, like he's strong on that, but I mean he's got massive freaking legs,
Yeah, I'm
but
sure.
like he
Mhm.
can put like 3 or 4 plates on that thing and kill it. And I'm like, I get on it and yeah, one plate is just
Yeah.
crushing. And that's like the top set right
Same
there.
as same as with the pendulum squat, right? You can put
Yeah,
like 3 plates and I'm dying. And then you see Dusty
that's just
Henshaw
it.
put 8. And like,
Yeah,
motherfucker,
right.
how? And
It's
you're
insane.
5 years older than I am. How are you still doing this?
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, pendulum is definitely on my list of things. Atlantis
Yeah.
makes a good pendulum squat that I'm
Yeah,
getting.
that's
So,
that's one of the best ones. Yeah. We have Arsenal
yeah.
Strength at our place.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's a solid one also. Yeah, it wobbles a little
Mhm.
bit, but it's half the fun.
That's half the fun. That's what I heard about Arsenal stuff is it is a little wobbly.
The weird thing is like the hack squat and the leg press. That's very smooth. It's probably the best ones I've tried. The hack squat and the leg press, very very smooth.
Cool.
The
Yeah.
V squat is okay. It hurts my knees a little bit, and the pendulum is just all over the place. Dude. It's like a rocking boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
You load it up and you're like, ooh, but it actually feels quite smooth.
Huh.
So
interesting.
So I think if you can get like the best equipment of each, like a couple Atlantis, a couple Arsenals, and maybe some prime presses are usually pretty okay.
Yeah, there's a couple prime things that I'm getting to that stand out.
And
I really like their arm curl deal where they have you can put the separate.
Oh right, yeah.
The torque arm thing. Yeah, I really like that. But Quads has a handful of those.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see those in Thailand because they're like twice as heavy.
Yeah,
and the shipping was brutal on those things.
I bet. Yeah. Especially there.
So when is your gym opening?
Yeah, so the building's supposed to be ready for me in April is what they have quoted. So so yeah, by May
I should have
here in a couple months.
Wow.
Or April, May, yeah. But I think it'll be end of May. I should be able to have all my equipment moved in by then because I do have most of it picked out. But yeah, there is still some space for some random bits and pieces to go in there.
Yeah, you can always like if you find something, on usually these old pieces they end up in what is that website called? Craigslist.
Yeah.
They'll end up there, and and then you just you refurbish it for a couple $100 and you have something cool.
Yep.
You gotta
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it. That's what we do here in Muscle Factory. If you find something, then there's a ton of equipment here sitting just because during the pandemic, a lot of gyms went out of business.
Yeah.
So there's like millions of pieces of equipment that are just sitting around.
That's a good point.
Waiting to be be
Yeah, there's probably a ton. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of gyms went out of business.
So you got the beautiful dog over there.
Yeah, he's chilling.
He's chilling, yeah.
Yeah, he's new. He's 10 months old.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
He's a pup. But
good. We just got a new cat. Like 3 days
ago.
Oh yeah,
I saw that. You got a
Swings cat. It's very fitting because I'm just as old as she is.
Yeah.
But these cats are high maintenance, man.
Well, how so?
So normally animals they let off a little bit of oil, but they have fur, so it disperses and it keeps the fur nice and fluffy and clean, right? But these animals don't have fur, so they release oil and they get greasy.
Yeah.
Just like a bodybuilder gets greasy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I get greasy. I need to shower, so I need to like clean the cat every day.
Oh yeah, so you got to bathe the cat.
Yeah, not do you bathe them once a week, but you have like special wet wipes. Just wash them, which she apparently loves. Other cats don't like it, but she loves it. So luckily, the first 2 days have been easy.
Yeah,
and then you need to brush the teeth and feed them water because they don't like to drink water, and this and that, and then. It's hilarious.
You have to feed it water?
Yeah.
It doesn't
really drink. And apparently they eat like 4 times as much. So they radiate body temperature. It's like she's on Tren.
Huh.
Once you touch it, it's like hot.
Really?
Are you sick? You have food poisoning? Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's the first cat that I own. But so far, so the first 2 days have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, he's not super high maintenance. He's just starting to shed though. He's shedding out his winter coat. So that's been interesting. That's been interesting. Yeah.
So how you vacuum and you look around and like,
oh yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, I've never right. Yeah, I've never had a dog that shed like this. But it was like when it first started happening. I saw like on his legs, he'd have like these weird, like little like tufts of fur hanging up. And I was like, what is that? And I just reached in and like grabbed and pulled and this huge chunk would come out. And I was like, what the heck, dude? And then I like get his brush and start scraping all this hair off of him. And you just have like huge piles of hair. And he's still there's still a ton on him. I know that's going to,
I think you got to like, if you have one of those leaf blowers, and you take them out in the backyard. You just blow all the hair off. Yeah, I think I've
Really?
seen it on YouTube. Yeah.
I haven't looked up anything on how to handle it, but
Yeah, you just take them out and
I
just
mean, that would be
blow
great.
him. And I think usually the dogs that like that.
Yeah,
And
probably.
yeah, it's a little bit of pressure, and you just blow all the
Probably.
hair away. I've seen that on YouTube. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my cat is hairless, so I don't have this issue.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
now
yeah, I
it's
saw
like a
that.
little bit sticky and greasy already. So
That's funny.
it's all
Yeah.
right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's
Did you say
fun,
you
man.
had a motorcycle?
Yeah, I just bought a new one, but it's not
Oh,
really a
really?
motorcycle. It's an automatic scooter, so it doesn't really count.
Oh, well,
Yeah, yeah. So I
it's
just bought
something.
an NMAX. But usually when I go out, I get the bigger bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Ducati or an X Max or a
Yeah.
T Max, also automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
That'd be
traffic
cool.
here is brutal. It's not like the Western world. The
Yeah.
traffic here is like brake, gas, brake, get turn, left, right. It's
True.
it's
Yeah.
like Mario Kart,
Yeah.
basically. So if you got a bike with where you have to shift gear, you're constantly shifting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like there's no long open roads where you can really tour. So that's why
Interesting. Yeah.
most people mostly have an automatic bike. So I just got a new NMAX, which is like the medium one.
Hmm.
Medium size Yamaha. They got a
Yeah.
Click, NMAX, X-Max, and T-Max. And T-Max is like a
Interesting.
jet ski. Those
Yeah.
are huge. Oh, those are great. Feels
Huh.
like they're floating. Feels like
You
they're
said
floating.
they're automatic bikes, huh?
Yeah, but they're
I've
500
never heard of
cc's.
them. I mean, that's enough.
Yeah.
So I've been through a few bikes. I don't
Uh-huh.
have one anymore, but what it was I mean, it was probably like 12 years ago.
Uh-huh.
When I was doing all my reckless things.
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a CBR 600.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah. And before
Those
that
are
I had a
fast.
Oh yeah, they're so fast. Yeah, I had before that I had a Yamaha R6, and 600 cc's is plenty. Like it's
that's all you need.
Even
Even if you're a big guy, these engines are very, very powerful.
They're very powerful. I got
on
on
the open road. You could just
what's that bike that's a 1200?
Probably Kawasaki, maybe. No,
was it the Hayabusa? Is that what that is? I don't know. I've been on a 1200, and yeah, it's insane. Like it's huge. First of all, it's a massive bike,
and they're also very high. So you sit on them.
I'm on my
you're
tiptoes.
like your tiptoes.
Yeah,
and you're leaning a little bit to the side. You're like, whoa.
I thought I was gonna drop it, but yeah, I was just like, this is way too much. Yeah, like 600 is going to be too much for many people. Yeah, those
if you're in the mountains, like here in the north of Thailand, you've got a lot of mountains, and the south as well. So usually when I travel to those areas, I get like the biggest automatic bike I can get, because you don't have to shift through all the mountainous roads, and you get like a 500 cc bike and just go around.
That's cool.
It's great. Really cool. But here in Bangkok, just 155, but that's enough. So
I mean, yeah.
It's enough, yeah. So all I have to do is tune it now and make it street illegal.
Yeah,
and then
of course, you always gotta mess with something. Something outside
of course.
The limit.
Yeah, and then I gotta find out the district police officer, just have a little talk, and then that's the great thing about Thailand, man. You can there's law enforcement, but no enforcement of the law.
That's interesting.
Or very little, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's of course you don't go push it too far, but these little things where you modify your bike a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know what to say the right way. If they stop you, then it's okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it's a funny guy. Have you ever been here or no?
I haven't. No. Yeah, never. Yeah. It'd be cool.
It's a fun place, man. You're always welcome.
Yeah. I've never. I haven't even looked into it, actually, but yeah, I keep hearing more and more people.
It's a lot of people are coming to Thailand recently. Some of them moved to Dubai, of course, because it's a little bit better for business.
Yeah,
a lot more influencers are there.
Yeah,
but it seems like a very clicky group of influencers that all work together.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
and here in Thailand, everybody's just kind of hanging out and chilling out and just doing whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so great. Yeah,
I mean, the idea of the pharmacy situation over there alone sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is. So you can basically get anything you want, but
yeah,
but all the underground labs are shit.
Oh, really?
All of them. Yeah, it's the
Wow.
oils. It's the carrier oils. They're accurately dosed. They're sterile. It's just the oils. I don't know what they use, man. I mean,
Huh.
you did some home brewing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if you use like cottonseed or grapeseed or MCT, a little
Mhm.
bit of benzobenzoate, benzo alcohol, you can create something good.
Yeah.
Sterile, accurately dosed, but you don't get any inflammation.
Yeah.
Now, if you send that to Denmark or Canada, where it's freaking cold, it will crash, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
True.
all these underground labs that are here, they're not really underground labs, they're like huge operations in India and Cambodia and Thailand even. And they
Yeah.
produce millions of ampules and vials.
Yeah.
They produce tons. They supply all of the Arabs, all of the Indians. They supply most of Asia. But then once in a while, they send a batch to Denmark or Canada or a cold place, and their
Yeah.
product would crash. So they would
Mhm.
use 100% solvent
Yeah.
to prevent that from happening. Yeah, Megliol and propylene, polyethylene glycol and
Yeah. Yeah.
glucol, and they mix everything together. And so I've seen so much blood work over here in this part of the
Oh,
world where
man.
people get horrible inflammation,
Mhm.
like horrible, like cancer levels inflammation. So
Jeez.
and it doesn't matter. I wrote most of these guys an email years ago. So listen,
Mhm.
guys, you're killing your customers. Please change the oil. Of
Yeah.
course, I never get a response.
For sure.
So I just tell most people to just avoid it.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's legit. Yeah. Along when I was doing all that trend, like that's when I got
Mm,
into home brewing because I wanted to make 200 milligram per
right.
milliliter Tren Ace. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I got to use, I got to use guaiacol and ethyl oleate. And I got
Oh,
to do, I know it's so bad. And, but I did it and it worked. But yeah, no, it was terrible, terrible stuff. And like smelled horrible.
yeah,
Like, but yeah, so I definitely, that's something that I talk to a lot of guys about is like, if it's dosed this high, there's a very strong
that's a
chance
red
that,
flag.
yeah, there's, God knows what to keep it in solution.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
only thing you can dose high is boldenone.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe 400 milligrams.
for sure.
I've had
Yeah,
some
because I
guys
mean, it's already
angrily,
liquid.
some guys were like angrily emailing me after making carrier oil videos saying, "Oh, boldenone, you can make 500 milligrams per 1 milliliter." Okay, guys, slow down. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. 300 milligrams per milliliter is more than enough.
Yeah, for
Um,
real. Yeah.
but like 200 milligrams primo,
Mhm.
red flag. 150
Yeah,
milligrams Tren per mil is a red flag.
yeah, yeah,
It's a shame, And ideally, I have it dosed a little bit lower, so it actually takes a little bit longer to absorb, so you have more stable levels.
hmm
So you made it with glucol and ethyl oleate, and
and BB and BA and yeah, it was
it's
it
100
held.
percent solvent. Oh,
Yeah, it was terrible,
I was
but
supposed
it
injection pain
held.
on that.
No, yeah, I mean, it was not good. It was, yeah,
No,
no, it all hurt, but yeah, I
yeah,
mean, just it was a different time period.
different time. Yeah, nowadays people brew an MCT and it actually goes quite well.
So most of what I do now is MCT oil.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and it is very good. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have any problems with that.
No, if you
So,
filter it through a Wattman filter, if you got some USP grade MCT oil, I
yeah.
think it holds quite well. So I've talked to a couple of homebrewers and basically came to a conclusion. I think you can make it, that if it's at room temperature and it's about 30 or 25 degrees. I'm not really sure how much Fahrenheit that is. It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
let's say a little bit hotter room temperature.
Mhm.
What you can do is you get a beaker, you throw the MCT oil in, and then you just keep adding stuff until it goes out of solution. Then you add some MCT, and then you have to kind of do some fancy calculations. And
Sure.
then some guys can brew like 125 milligrams of Tren Ace per one
Yeah.
milliliter. That's the maximum it can hold.
Yeah.
Then for the
Yeah.
next time you make something like that, of course, if it if it solidifies,
Mhm.
if you put it in the fridge, then it would congeal, right? That's the
Yeah,
right
yeah, yeah.
word.
Yeah,
And then it would crash completely.
for sure. Have you heard people I've had people tell me um that they they tried to keep their test in the fridge
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
No, I mean, people think that the same as with GH, right? Is you need to keep the test in the fridge or all your steroids, and yeah, you can do that, but imagine trying to inject that afterwards. I mean, it's
Oh yeah,
thick.
it's
MCT
gooey.
oil doesn't really get thick, but that would congeal. But
Yeah.
cottonseed or grapeseed, it will get super thick. Or
Oh yeah.
like I use everything castor oil, which is thick already,
Yeah.
and that would
Yeah.
turn into syrup, if you put it in the fridge. So
For sure.
no, no,
Yeah.
it's yeah, home brewing is always, I don't know, living in Thailand always sounds a little bit scary to me.
I mean, it is something that I'm getting away from
Mm,
and going just more the straight up pharmacy route
yeah,
and doing that just because I like it is risky, of
yeah.
course. So,
Mm,
you know, um, I think the thing that gets people in trouble is if they're just buying entirely too much and making it look like they're going to be some kind of seller or
yeah.
something.
Mm,
That's the hard thing is doing it in small enough amounts that you might not get flagged, but it's
right.
just it is just a risky thing to
It's
do.
getting
But yeah,
it's this whole PED stuff is getting more risky everywhere.
yeah, no,
It's
yeah,
very unfortunate for us. Of course, more pharmacies are popping up, right, and TRT clinics are popping up, but I think they're slowly starting to crack down on it. I saw that some sources got cracked down by the US, got seized, like
oh
Express
really?
PCT, yeah, Express
Oh yeah,
PCT,
huh?
bad because that was a good supplier,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I don't I don't know. I mean, I was hoping things would start to go in a different. I felt like
So what is it, Oregon or something that
that's
they
what I
they
was about to say.
legalized? Yeah, they
Yeah,
legalized everything.
yeah. That's what I was about to say. It was like in Oregon,
Yeah,
everything is good, and I thought that would slowly start to spread, hopefully. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Wouldn't
that's
it be
crazy.
weird if they said like some sort of dispensary there in Oregon, like a steroid dispensary? Yeah, it's all legal now. They have their own facility, and then
Oh man,
they can do telemedicine. You need a script of mint. You want to
yeah,
do a mint cycle for birth control purposes. Yeah, 50
right.
milligrams per week. You're a bodybuilder too. Okay, that's great. Okay,
That's good.
hopefully at one point it will come to that point. You know.
I mean, I don't know. I hope. I mean, yes, I hope. I don't know. Surely, eventually, I feel like I feel like I heard or I read that Biden was a big part of the some of the
Mhm.
steroid issues, some of the crackdowns and stuff. I'm
Uh,
really not sure. I
I
thought
think
I heard that
yeah.
he was a
Mhm.
part of it, but I'm don't quote me
I
on
think
it.
they're
I
always
don't know
trying
for
to
sure.
crack down. I think that, and always
Yeah,
trying to crack down on something. It's a shame though because it is kind of required for advanced bodybuilding.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
but sourcing seems to be it's always a perpetual issue. You know that's why
Yeah, I mean,
in Thailand it's I'm lucky in that sense. I can just go to the pharmacy and buy pharmaceuticals, and not
mhm,
everything is high quality, but most of the essential stuff is available. Pharmaceutical GH, pharmaceutical test, pharmaceutical primo,
yeah.
pharmaceutical anavar, Winstrol, Anadrol, Dianabol,
What's your pharmaceutical Anavar dosed at?
5 milligrams.
5? Yeah, I was like, the only one that I
Yeah,
know is
just
2.5.
pop. Oh no,
Yeah.
2.5. Yeah, sorry,
Is it? Is
2.5.
it?
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, when I
Bonnevard's
found
2.5. Yeah, and then
yeah.
there's one in Iran
Mhm.
that is also 2.5. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oxanabol, I
that's what I
think.
thought, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, 'cause I that's probably that's probably one of the last things that I did with, on the GH15 forum
Uh-huh.
was there was somebody there that, there was a source there that had a bunch of pharmacy Anavar. There was all
Yeah.
2.5 milligrams, and
It's annoying as hell.
it was annoying, but yeah, it was good.
But you can't run more than 25 milligrams to that
Right,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was doing
That
was
stuff will
25, yeah.
turn you into a rock.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, your
Yeah, no, it
HDL
is
is like
good.
4 at the end of
Yeah.
it. You do your blood work, and your HDL is like bottoms out.
No, yeah,
Your liver
yeah.
enzymes are very, very high. But
It's
no,
it's
if you
pretty
got
good.
real Anavar, it's a magical compound. I love that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. It's expensive though.
Yeah, I
Maybe
pay.
not in Thailand, but I
No, I
can't
still
remember.
pay like $20 for a box of 50 tablets of 2.5 milligrams. So
No, that's a solid deal.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
of course,
do
but
that.
then maybe that's my price. I've been here a
Well,
while.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got to go through a middleman and whoever else.
Yeah. So that's work online. You can move here. You bring your
Yeah.
dog, bring the wife.
Yep.
I'll show you which pharmacy has the pharmaceutical anavar for $20.
That would be. I mean, that's a fair
Yeah.
trade. Good.
No, so that's why a lot of guys are here. They do their steroid
Yeah.
holidays here, and you kind of get stuck. The weird thing is, I came here, I was drug free, and then I started getting introduced to steroids a little bit later on. But I mostly came here to party.
Really? Wait, you
Yeah.
came you moved there from Holland? Is that
From
right?
Holland. Yeah. So when I was 23, a buddy of mine was studying here at one of the universities,
Mhm.
and he told me, "Dude, it's wild here. You should come." So it's like, okay, fuck it. I booked a ticket. I didn't prepare anything, and I came like 2 weeks later. It
Yeah.
it was true. It was fucking wild. We go to the
Huh.
nightclubs, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy compared to Holland. That is Holland. I mean, Holland's got some crazy nightclubs too.
Yeah.
Back in the day, especially in the dance scene with free flow MDMA and ecstasy everywhere. So yeah, that's the
That's
'90s
cool.
and 2000s. Yeah.
Yep.
So we were used to, and then you come here, and it's so much fun. It's just
Hmm.
easy to get in touch with people. Nobody's stuck up.
Yeah.
Very easy to talk with people, and then make friends. And so you go to the nightclub alone, and you walk out with a group of friends.
Yeah.
It would happen every night. So I came here for 2 weeks, and you realize how far your dollar goes or your euro goes.
Mhm.
I couldn't. You go to the ATM, and I couldn't finish it. You get like 500 euros, which is not that much, maybe $600, $700 at the time. I
Yeah.
couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! You go eat, you go sightseeing, you go clubbing, you open a bottle of whiskey, you get mixers, you get ice, and buy drinks for girls and all the kind of shit. It doesn't finish.
Yeah.
And I went back to Holland, and I realized, like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah. That's
Why am I
funny.
still here? So
Yeah.
that's when it started. And of course, it takes a while before you're moving. But
Mm.
after working online, and YouTube became more popular on Instagram, and then you learn how to make money online, and you can live here indefinitely. So there's so many people in my that do money online, and they live here.
Yeah.
And the bodybuilding community is quite big. Foreigners that come here and just they buy what they want at the pharmacy, to go to the gym, to keep a low profile, and
Mhm.
many of them are Bitcoin millionaires, or they got like 5 million followers on YouTube, with these weird channels.
Yeah.
And so there's a ton of people here that's very interesting to
Yeah.
get in touch with. Yeah, that's why I tell most people, if you make money online, move over to Thailand.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Let,
it's not cheap living in Chicago, that's for sure.
no, well, you
Yeah.
you gotta flip your gym first.
You're right.
You
Yep.
gotta flip your gym first. What is the website of the gym? Let's plug that before we wrap it up, because it's almost been 2 hours.
Well, I don't have a website for so the other thing about the gym is that it's
Yeah.
actually not a public gym. It's actually gonna be
Oh, invite
most.
only.
Yeah, invite only, but yeah,
Okay.
mostly it's just gonna be to train or to film training footage.
Okay.
Because I wanna tap into that market a little bit more.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
I was making training content here, but it's
Mhm.
just not the same doing it in a public gym. And
No, it's very difficult. Yeah. That's why I
yeah,
go
and
at 9 o'clock in the
well,
evening.
so there was a time where I hired a videographer to go with me to quads and film me, and we got away with it for a little while, and then someone complained, and they were like, "We can't have you doing it anymore." And I was like, "Well, shit." And then after that, I was like, well,
Yeah.
like, fuck it. I'm going to open my own gym. I'm going to do whatever I want in it.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where it's
What
at
what
now.
you could do is like a VIP membership for influencers.
Well,
So
that's the other plan is
yeah.
like do collaborations in it and stuff like that. It's like
Mhm.
literally just invite people to come out and film content,
Yeah, but I think like nowadays, because everybody's on Instagram, you could charge a premium.
Hmm.
You have your gym membership that you want to train here. Okay, it's, I don't know, $1,000 a month. But for
Yeah.
some, for some influencers, it we highly pay off. Like at Muscle Factory, for example, the lighting was shit. The light was absolute shit. And after 4 years, I got pissed. So I asked the owner, how much does it cost to change all the lights? So he said, well, it's going to cost about $700. I said, okay.
Okay.
So just
do
wait for it. Yeah, let's do it. So, and now the gym is properly lit, right? During the day and in the evening, it looks nice. The light is nice and bright, and it looks 10 times better on Instagram.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the you can film for free in there. Nobody gives a shit, right? If you're in the background, and so there's a ton of influencers in this gym or people passing through and they see the light and like, wow, for social media, this is great.
This is great.
Yeah. So everybody thanked me. Obviously, some people gave me some money to cover a part of the expenses because they were very happy with it. But I think there's a huge market for that also. Like if you got a gym that looks really, really cool for Instagram, you got some cool equipment.
Yeah.
I think people would pay a premium and then just be allowed to film, but also not be surrounded by, I don't know, the gym fuckery crowd.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's kind of the idea. Yeah. That's part of
it. They wouldn't pay a premium, to train at your gym. So yeah, that's
that
how
makes sense. That would, I mean, yeah. No, yeah, that was the idea, was like, invite, like IFBB pros and whatever.
Exactly. And they can do their workouts and, film and do whatever, promote their products. And
so, yeah, the Chicago Pro is in July, and I've already.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So Mark Lobliner is doing it, and I've gone back and forth with him talking about stuff for
Mark
a while
is pro now?
Yeah, he just turned pro. Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah, he turned pro.
I haven't been following Mark.
No, he finally turned pro. I think in the 40 and up. Masters division. But yeah, so he's doing the Chicago Pro, and he wants, or I invited him, like, you can come, do your week leading up. You can train at my gym, and
just good promotion. He still got a decent following. It went down a bit over the years, but it's that's the ultimate end stage of every YouTuber. It's like a 5-year lifespan or something like this. And then you get big, and then after a while people get bored, even though the quality is still good. They go to the next guy. But I think that's a good business setup.
For sure.
Yeah. That's, you charge a premium, what is the gym called?
It's just going to be Chase Irons Fitness. But yeah, I don't have like the signs out on it right now, but I don't have like a website for it. I mean,
it's a warehouse with a very small door and a doorbell, but nobody knows the address, or that there's actually a gym in there. You open the door, you're like, holy shit,
holy shit, look at this. No, that's the idea. But I don't have a website for the gym or anything like that. Just
so how many followers do you need before you can train at your gym?
How many followers? What would be
10,000? Is that enough?
10,000 would be a good mark. Yeah, that would be a good place to start.
All the riff-raff is just getting started.
They definitely had to do some work to get there. Yeah, for sure.
No, especially how difficult it is to grow on Instagram.
For real. Yeah. So
it's very difficult to grow right now. All right, man. I wish you all the best with this new gym. It looks cool. So I hope to see a gym tour on your YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. No, that's definitely gonna be part of it. Yeah, once they get some more progress done. Like, I've been in there a few times to see how things are looking, and they're slowly moving along. But
any sneak peeks somewhere?
So I mean, I did make a video of like the original walkthrough. Like, it's of just what the inside looks like, but it's being completely gutted and redone. So, but no recent videos yet. I imagine probably by the end of this month there'll be a video of the progress that they've made, because there's like in the gym, like the front office area is going to have like some rooms for an office kitchen and whatnot, a lobby area, but then the whole gym will be the whole warehouse back end of it. But yeah, there should have a good update by the end of this month, I imagine. So
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it should be cool. And thanks so much for coming on the show, man. It was fun.
No problem, for sure.
This was fun.
Anytime, absolutely.
Anytime. Yeah, I think the next one we'll do on your YouTube channel.
Yeah,
and I go back and forth whenever the fans want to see more of us.
For sure. Yeah. No, yeah, I think it'll be good.
All right, man. Yeah. Thanks so much. Do you want to plug anything? Any social media websites or pages so people know where to find you?
I mean, my Instagram is just at Chase Irons. My YouTube page is Chase Irons, and those are the main places to get a hold of me. So,
all right, I'll put all the links down below, guys, in the description section, so you can follow Chase Irons wherever he is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.